Hey, I'm Brittany from Golden Hour, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some wedding tips to help your day go smoothly. The first tip is to prep a shoebox. Now, this shoebox contains all of the little details that you need to help get ready in the morning, as well as any other details for your wedding. That can be your invitations, your save the date, and your hairpiece, your lipstick, your earrings that you're wearing that day. Put them all in one shoebox, or let's be real, it can be any container, but put them all in one spot. That way you're not running around to different rooms on the wedding day, and you can give it to your photographer when they arrive, when they want to take those beautiful detail photos that you love. You have it all in one spot, and that way also when the hairdresser's doing your hair or you need to do your lipstick, you can easily know where they are. The second tip is to have an extra pair of shoes. This might be obvious, but I know you're gonna get a beautiful pair of shoes that goes perfectly with your dress, perfectly with the vibe, and those are beautiful for photos and specific moments. However, your feet will probably get tired because you don't usually wear these shoes, or maybe they have a heel, or maybe they're just straight up uncomfortable. So always have an extra pair of shoes. Maybe they're an old pair of sandals that you love to wear, an old pair of sneakers, or a new pair of sneakers. No matter what, have extra pair of shoes because you will probably need to change into them, especially after the ceremony or when you want to hit the dance floor. Tip number 4 is wedding rings. Now, if you're doing a first look before the ceremony and you want to wear wedding rings in your wedding pictures, then make sure someone has wedding rings and your groom has a wedding ring. Bring it on your first look, give it to your photographer. Somewhere, make sure there's wedding rings in the picture. And that way you can have your bride and groom portraits with your wedding rings on, because you're wearing these the rest of your life. So you may as well have them in your bride and groom portraits as well. Tip number 5 is take a moment. This is such an important tip of your day. Schedule a moment to take the day in and to soak it in. Maybe plan for there to be a snack there as well. And that way you can just visit the two of you, because often these days go by so quickly and you just want to make sure you look at each other and you remember the reason why this day is happening. Tip number 6 is have a day of coordinator. Now this can look in many different ways. You don't necessarily have to hire someone, although I do suggest obviously hiring a wedding coordinator or a wedding planner. However that may look, if it fits into your budget, they are so helpful. But if that is not in your budget, then have a cousin, a coworker, a friend, someone who is really good at delegating and getting stuff done. Ask them to be a part of your wedding day in that way, and have them be the one that takes care of the red flags that pop up during the day, because usually there's some little things that pop up during the day, nothing major, but that way you don't have to deal with it and your moms don't have to deal with it, and the people that are closest to you don't have to deal with it. Having someone as a day of coordinator is so helpful, so make sure to ask someone who would be willing to help you in that way. Tip number 7 is to have a family shots list. Now this is so helpful because your day goes by so quickly and all of a sudden you realize we just did family photos, but I didn't get the photo with my mom and my dad and my dog. Have a list ready to go for your photographer, and that way they know exactly what combinations to do so you don't miss any photos. A great way to do this through an iPhone is sharing a note with each other, and that way if you want to add to it, let's say you share the note a month before your wedding. That way if you add to it, take away from it, the note is going to stay updated. So then when it comes to on the day of the wedding and the photographer opens up the note on their iPhone, it's easy to access. It's up to date with which family photos you'd like. Having a family shots list shared with your photographer, so important. And your photographer is going to do a great job no matter what, but this way you get the peace of mind knowing that you're getting all the variations and combinations that you'd like. Okay, my final tip for you, and I don't care if you don't do any of the other tips, if you're gonna only do one tip from this video, do this tip. It's to write a thank you speech. I don't mean on the day of write the thank you speech. I mean a week out when you're thinking about your vows, when you're perfecting them, those are done. Write a thank you speech, because it is so important to thank the ones that you love. If you think about it, and I don't want to put too much pressure on this, but on the day of your wedding, all the people there love you so much. And you will never have a time in your life that you will have all these amazing people that have affected your life in the same place. So it is a great way for you to say, hey, thank you so much for coming. Thank you specifically for this moment or for this. Thank you, parents, for raising me, all these things. This is something that is so important in your wedding. I know for us, we did not prepare a thank you speech properly. We wrote it on the day of hectically, and that is the only regret that I have in our wedding, is that we didn't properly properly thank the ones that we love. It doesn't need to be a long list, but I think just prepping it ahead of time and showing that they are worth thanking in that moment is so important. Because if you think about it, the people that are there at your wedding, they see you, of course, be so vulnerable at the ceremony, sharing your love for each other, which is such a beautiful thing and it feels vulnerable. But the next time that they see you is at the end of the reception at the thank you speeches. So they're excited to hear like, oh, like this is their thank you speech. We get to hear from them again. And not that they're expecting to be thanked, but they get to see who played a key role in your life in making you who you are. So again, no pressure, but it is so important to write the thank you speech before the day of the wedding. And those are some of my wedding day tips to help your day go smoothly. I hope they help. And if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. We will see you in our next video. Bye.